Have you ever bitten into an apple that was so perfectly crisp, so juicy you just had to stop and wonder, where on earth did this come from? Well, today, we're going to peel back the story of one of the world's most popular fruits, the incredible Honeycrisp apple. I love this quote because it just perfectly captures the spirit of Minnesota. We're not talking about some casual hobby here. This is a deep cultural and, scientific commitment to the apple. It's a tradition that has literally shaped the landscape and, believe it or not, the global fruit market. So that's the big question, right? How did one single apple from Minnesota become this global favorite? Well, the answer has a little bit of everything. Decades of scientific innovation, a battle against some brutal winters, and a cultural tradition that goes way, way back. So let's get into it. Okay, to really understand the story, we've got to set the scene. Just picture it. Autumn in Minnesota. Think mid-August all the way to late October. The air gets that perfect crisp feeling, and the leaves turn this incredible, deep crimson. Yep, this is the heart of apple season. And in Minnesota, orchards are so much more than just farms. They're really the stage where this whole story unfolds. They're part family destination and part living, breathing laboratory for agricultural science. You see, visiting a Minnesota orchard is this whole experience. It's an annual ritual. You've got the hayrides, that amazing smell of fresh cider being pressed, and of course, the simple joy of just plucking a perfect apple right from a branch. It's a tradition that brings families back year after year. And it was right here, from these very orchards, that one particular apple rose up to achieve worldwide fame. It became the star of the show, the Honeycrisp. Now, to really appreciate just how big of a deal the Honeycrisp is, you need a little scale. There are over 7,500 known apple cultivars in the world. I mean, that is a staggering amount of variety. And yet, out of all those thousands of options, the Honeycrisp became a household name. So what exactly makes it so special? To really get it, we need to know this word, cultivar. So this means it's not some apple that just grew randomly in the wild. No, a cultivar is a variety that was intentionally created by people through selective breeding to get very specific, desirable traits. And let me tell you, the Honeycrisp is an absolute masterpiece of this process. This profile here, it basically shows you exactly why it succeeded. It was developed at the University of Minnesota, and it even became the state apple. But its global fame, that comes from this unique combination, that perfect sweet and tangy flavor, that incredible juicy crunch, and, this is the key to its whole origin story, its resistance to the cold. And that brings us right to the science, because that perfect crunch, that wasn't an accident. It was the result of decades of really rigorous, dedicated work. You know, the biggest hurdle for any apple grower in Minnesota is the climate. The winters there are just notoriously harsh, really severe. So the first problem that needed solving wasn't about taste or texture, it was about simple survival. The answer was found in a serious, long-term commitment to science. For over 100 years, scientists at the University of Minnesota have been meticulously breeding apples, all trying to create varieties that were tough enough for the climate, but also sweet enough to rival any apple grown anywhere else. The process itself is a real game of patience. It starts with identifying the traits you want, flavor, texture, and of course resilience. Then, the scientists cross-pollinate different parent trees, hoping to combine their best features. After that, it's the long wait, cultivating and testing new seeds for years and years. And finally, after all that work, a winner like the Honeycrisp is selected. And this was the holy grail, resilience, the ability to endure those difficult freezing winters. Without this toughness, that delicious flavor and incredible crisp texture would have never even had a chance to flourish in Minnesota. So all of this really builds to a much bigger picture. The story of the Honeycrisp isn't just about one apple, it's about the global legacy of an entire region's dedication to its craft. This quote really just sums it all up. The Honeycrisp is living proof that cutting-edge innovation can not only exist with, but actually elevate a deeply rooted tradition like the autumn harvest. It's just an incredible journey when you really think about it. What started in a university lab to solve a local problem, surviving the cold, blossomed into this global phenomenon that's enjoyed by millions. And that leaves us with a really fascinating thought. The work at the University of Minnesota and places just like it is still going on. So, after a century of innovation created a superstar like the Honeycrisp, you just have to wonder, what new flavors and textures are being cultivated right now? And what will be the next apple to change the world?